is enough said.
What's up, Heat Nation? Ernest here with another Miami Heat Talk video. Would really appreciate if you guys can like the video and subscribe to the channel. So the Miami Heat's 2024 season is officially over, you guys. Last night, the Miami Heat get busted by the Boston Celtics, 114-84. I got to give credit, and my hats off go to Bam Adebayo. Bam Adebayo, this entire series against the Boston Celtics, embodied Miami Heat culture. Bam Adebayo averaged 23 points a game in these playoff series, fighting, scratching, and clawing to give the Miami Heat hope and chance. So Bam Adebayo, I salute you. But let's be honest. The Miami Heat walked into this series wounded. We walked into this series with very limited chance. I know a lot of us were trying to be positive. We're trying to have hope. But the fact that Jimmy Butler, Terry Rozier, you had Josh Richardson already out with the shoulder injury. Jaime Jaquez didn't play Game 5 with a hip injury. And then Duncan Robinson with his back injury gives you nothing this series. It was an uphill battle. And I know you're going to have a lot of people, and trust me, I see people in my comments already that are like, oh, you see, I told you. And you'll even have other Miami Heat channels where people are like, I told y'all, in your face. You're gonna see a lot of negativity, a lot of pessimistic. You're gonna see a lot of people be happy and blame us positive people and say things like, in your face, told you the Heat couldn't do it. Ladies and gentlemen, Miami Heat culture, you know your boy Ernest is the voice of the voices for the positive Miami Heat fans. For all those people that you're going to hear talking crap, being negative, being glad that the Heat lost, when they were quiet every time the Miami Heat did something good this season, when they were jumping on the bandwagon whenever the Miami Heat had a winning streak during the season or were looking a little confident, all of that, ladies and gentlemen, is just SDE. And for those of you that don't know what SDE means, it means small dick energy. So ladies and gentlemen, I implore you, do not stress yourself with people that have SDE. Just let them talk. Treat it like a window. When you hear a lot of stupid noise, just shut the window and move on with your lives. Now, the season's over, but the Miami Heat offseason just begun. Now that this season is over, we can look back and we can see exactly what this season was. And let's be honest, you guys, last year and this year was very similar. Last year, you're an 8th seed. You finish as a 7th seed, but you go into the play-in and lose, become an 8th seed. You go to the 1st seed Milwaukee Bucks and shock the world. Whether you can blame it on Giannis's injury, doesn't matter. Giannis did play those last few games and Miami still busted that ass. This year, it was exactly the same thing. You're an 8th seed. You go against the 1st seed, but this time reality smacks you in the face. This time you don't have Jimmy Butler to put on his Superman cape and be the guy. Now, I will say this. I understand that the Heat got smacked in the face and lost this series 4-1. We still won one game. Had you had a fully healthy Miami Heat roster, I don't care what anyone says. I don't care with all these people that are going to say, I told you so. If Miami was fully healthy, Boston would have had a big ass problem. But what this shows me as well, you guys, I understand you've heard me talk about it before, but if I don't mention it in every video, people in the comments are going to be like, oh, well, Ernest, look at this. I've said it before. Tyler missed 40 games. Jimmy missed 22 games. Bam missed double-digit games. Caleb missed double-digit games. Kevin Love missed double-digit games. Terry Rozier missed double-digit games. Duncan Robinson missed double-digit games. We had 39 different starting lineups this season, including the playoffs. When you're a team that has that many starting lineups with this much inconsistency, you should be the bottom level of the team. You should be trying to get a lottery pick. You should be tanking. But the fact that the Miami Heat had that many different starting lineup changes and we're still 10 games over 500, 4 games down from the 2nd seed, shows me that this Miami Heat roster could have done it. Now, call it whatever you want. Bad luck, the curse of LeBron, the NBA gods just halting the Miami Heat this year because they want someone else to get it. Call it whatever you want. This was just a season mirrored by bad luck. But now, we go into the 2024 offseason, guys, with hope. Why? Because June 26th is the NBA draft. And the Miami Heat own 2 draft picks. We have the 15th pick in the first round and the 43rd pick in the second round. Those, ladies and gentlemen, are value. They're middle round picks. The 15th pick, you guys, look at what the Miami Heat has done lately when they're picking in the middle tier of the draft. Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero, Jaime Jaquez Jr. Those are 3 recent picks that we had that filtered anywhere from picks 13 to pick 19. This year, we have the 15th pick. So you need to hit hard on that pick. You need to get somebody who's going to help you now. You guys know how much I love Zach Edey, the 7'3" dominant center who gives the Miami Heat everything we need. Size, defensive presence, rebounding, blocking shots. We don't have that. You get a guy like Zach Edey on this team, you can either start him next to Bam Adebayo and move Bam to the power forward position and get back to the 90s old school mindset of basketball and just dominate teams defensively next year, or have Zach Edey come off the bench for Bam Adebayo. You know during the season Bam's not playing 40 minutes. This will actually allow to give Bam Adebayo more time for rest. So you pick up a guy like Zach Edey, but you know what the Heat are going to do. They're probably going to get another wing player, another small forward player. We're all going to be like, what the hell is Miami doing? And then he breaks out during the season. So look forward to that. We also do have our second round pick. You see what Miami has done with undrafted picks. The fact that we have both our first and second round pick this year is positive. But then after the draft picks, you guys, we need to think about what the Miami Heat can do, because remember, 2024, the new CBA rules go completely in effect. The Miami Heat are currently a first apron team, ladies and gentlemen. As a first apron team, you're restricted with certain things. Now, we're $9 million under the second apron ceiling. Second apron, when you hit a second apron wall, you're done. You can't aggregate trades. You can't use any of your mid-level biannual trade exceptions, nothing. All you have is the players you have, and you can sign minimum contracts. That's it. So the Heat are $9 million under the second apron. Now, when free agency hits, if guys like Caleb Martin, Kevin Love, Josh Richardson, Thomas Bryant, if they all opt out of their contracts, it's going to put you even under the second apron line. And if the Miami Heat can move somebody like a Tyler Hero, a Duncan Robinson, because when you're a first apron team, you can do that. You can aggregate trades for money. You can't aggregate trades for players. So for example, you can't, if you're a first apron team, which is what we currently are, you cannot take Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero and trade them for Kevin Durant. It has to be a straight up trade that matches money. So it's like I mentioned in the video yesterday. I don't want to trade Jimmy Butler, but since we're a first apron team, the only trade that you can do to get Kevin Durant is trading Jimmy, because they make similar numbers and it works. A lot of people were mentioning in the comments yesterday they don't want to do that trade. I agree. The only reason why I was bringing the argument was Kevin Durant plays a lot more than Jimmy Butler during the regular season. And we've seen that the regular season has been a problem the last 2 years. We need to take the regular season more seriously. So how do you do that? Well, health. Health is the first thing. This Miami Heat team is mirrored with injuries. So you need a good luck health season next year. But another thing we need to decide is, what are we going to do with certain players? And I want to give you guys a list of the Miami Heat players and talk about this a little bit, because Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo, they're both up for contract extensions. Bam Adebayo is up for a 3-year, $150 to $160 million contract extension. Jimmy Butler, Miami can give him a 2-year, $110 million contract extension. Bam Adebayo, I have no problem extending. Bam Adebayo is the cornerstone of the franchise. He's 26 years old. He's getting into the prime of his career. You give Bam Adebayo that money. I don't think anything different. You pay Bam Adebayo. Jimmy Butler with the extension, that's where things are going to get tricky. If you want to give Jimmy Butler a contract extension, you need to sit down with Jimmy Butler, because you know Jimmy and his agent are going to be like, the last 5 years, we took you to 5 playoffs, 3 Eastern Conference Finals, 2 NBA Finals. And if you're Pat Riley and Andy Ellsberg, you're going to be like, okay, I understand that. You're right. However, the last 2 seasons, we've paid you maximum money for part-time work. It's kind of like Roman Reigns in the WWE. He makes the best money, but he barely shows up when toward the end of his championship run. You can't have that in basketball. We are paying Jimmy Butler and Tyler Hero $80 million between these two players, and they barely play. The regular season needs to be treated seriously. So in my opinion, I have no problem extending Jimmy Butler. 2 years is a little bit tough. I would give him a 1-year extension, but it would be on performance base. Because next year, Jimmy Butler is 35. So if you're going to extend Jimmy Butler to age 36 and possibly 37, he could still be good at those ages. Look at Kevin Durant. But it's like I mentioned yesterday, their play is very different. Jimmy Butler's a bruiser in the paint. Kevin Durant, not really. That's why I feel like Kevin Durant is still able to do what he does. So if you're going to give Jimmy Butler a contract extension, it needs to be performance-based. You need to play X amount of regular season games. You need to perform in the playoffs. If you don't play certain amount of games, money gets taken away. Now, I doubt Jimmy Butler does an extension like that, but it's the only one that I feel that works. Now, Bam Adebayo, extend him. No question. Full max extension, I feel. I understand that Bam is not a number one player. He's not your leading guy, but let's be real. Bam Adebayo does everything for the Heat. He makes this Miami Heat team go. And what we need to do is stop thinking about building around Jimmy and Bam. You need to build around, to stop thinking about building around Jimmy and Tyler. We need to start building around Bam, putting the right pieces around Bam. Guys like maybe Donovan Mitchell, guys like Lauri Markkanen. Getting minimum players, getting biannual players that are space shooters to allow Bam to create and kick out the ball. Get Bam some size so he can continue to shoot some threes and have somebody down low to get the rebound. So I think you need to build around Bam this offseason. I think it's time. How do you do that? We got to get rid of Tyler Hero. I'm sorry, guys. I know people are probably going to castrate me for this. I know a lot of Heat fans love Tyler Hero and want him to stay. The performance that we've seen these last few years, I think a lot of us I think a lot of people are still in love with that rookie Tyler Hero from the bubble. He hasn't been that since then. But to trade Tyler Hero right now, what are you going to get for him? You got to find a team that's going to look at him as value. Yes, he's 24 years old, but he's making about $30 million a year the next 3 years. And he's always injured. Do you trade for a player like that? You need to sweeten the pot. And how do you sweeten the pot? By adding Nikola Jovic or Jaime Jaquez Jr., and I don't want to do that. So I think we might be stuck with Tyler Hero, unless there's a disgruntled player in the offseason that just gets pissed off, wants to be moved. So keep your eye out on that. Caleb Martin, I think he's leaving. I don't think you bring Caleb Martin back. The only way Caleb Martin stays is if he opts into a final year of his contract because he thinks he can get more next year. I don't think that's going to happen. I think Caleb Martin can command the full mid-level exception. He can get anywhere from $10 to $13 million a year. Huge pay raise from what he has now. So I think Caleb Martin's going. And I'm okay with that, because you had the emergence of Jaime Jaquez Jr. this year. Jaime Jaquez Jr. will take Caleb Martin's role. He's going to ascend next year. I'd actually like to see Jaime Jaquez get more of a leadership role next year. And you do that by letting Caleb Martin walk. Sorry, Caleb, but Jaime is way more affordable than you. Nikola Jovic, this is the guy that you can go with moving forward. He can be either your starting power forward or he can be the leading guy coming off the bench for your bigs. I think the Miami Heat should seriously bring back DeLon Wright and Kevin Love. Kevin Love recently said that he doesn't want to retire. I don't think Kevin Love will have the same productiveness next year that he had this past year during the season. I think the Heat used Kevin Love way too much in the beginning of the season, and that kind of broke him down later on. If you draft someone like Zach Edey and you bring back Kevin Love and you have Nikola Jovic, now you can keep Kevin Love as a spotter. He's a veteran. He's going to lead Zach Edey and Nikola Jovic. But when you need him, he's going to come out there and hit his threes. DeLon Wright proved that if Haywood Highsmith leaves us because of free agency, DeLon Wright's going to be that guy. And that's another one. Haywood Highsmith, you guys, he's an unrestricted free agent. He's not a restricted free agent. So he can get whatever contract he wants. Look for Haywood Highsmith to get somewhere around Royce O'Neal or Dorian Finney-Smith money. I think Highsmith can make anywhere from like $7 to $11 to $12 million a year. 3-and-D guys are very essential in the NBA. And he's in a lawsuit right now So he's trying to get as much money as possible. So I'm not going to hate if Haywood Highsmith leaves. And two guys you want to look at in this offseason as possible guys that can be moved or that can stay, Terry Rozier and Duncan Robinson. I love both of these guys. I think Terry Rozier and Duncan Robinson, when they were starting in the backcourt throughout the season, was the best way to go. I've said this multiple times. Tyler Hero, the only way that this roster can work, the only way, you guys, that this current roster will work is if Duncan Robinson, Terry Rozier start in the backcourt, Jimmy, Bam start in the front court with Jovic or anyone else that we could possibly get that can fill the spot, and Tyler Hero needs to be the sixth man. Tyler Hero on this Miami Heat roster is not a good starter. It just doesn't fit. You saw when Hero came back from the foot injury, when that first game he came off the bench, it was great. It looked so good. Then Rozier got hurt, so we never got to see it fully. So, in my opinion, you guys, I think this 2024 offseason is going to be the most interesting. You got our draft picks. You got a bunch of trades that are going to come up. Donovan Mitchell may be traded. Other players may come up out the woodworks. You may have a potential deal for a Paul George. Kevin Durant's name is out there. There's going to be so much opportunity, so much flexibility. So I want to hear from you, Heat fans. Do you feel that last night's loss was the beginning of the decline for the Miami Heat organization? Or do you feel that the Miami Heat is going to hit a home run this year? Last year, we had the issue with Damian Lillard. The Heat didn't go all in. Hopefully, they learn from it this year. So I want to hear from you, Heat fans. Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. What do you think about my thoughts with all these players? Do you agree? Do you have different opinions? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for the love and support, you guys. And it's like I told y'all last night, just because the season's over, don't mean you're going to stop hearing from Ernest. I'm going to give you guys constant videos like I always do. We're going to talk about rumors, draft. We got a lot of stuff coming up. I'm going to do different things this offseason. Maybe talk about different playoff games. Who knows? But I will tell you this. Get used to this face because you ain't getting rid of me. Thank you guys for the support. Until next time, your boy Ernest out. That's enough said.